Hey everyone, Depressed Eeyore, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 12. This is the same weekend. This is essentially week 2, sorry. Um, Trying to grind my way to Silver 1 if I can. I did lose a match prior to this one. There's not really much to go over. I did try out Adankelmo for the first time. It's definitely very interesting. There's definitely some limitations with the portals. Against like a high mobility team, you're still kind of limited, but if you have things like act-agains and things like that, that definitely can help. But the match I lost, my PRO test unfortunately came out short trying to kill a Sherry. Sherry is almost guaranteed always to have that helmet that gives her a heal after being hit with fixed damage. So if she has last right, she actually gets pretty difficult to assassinate with PRO test, unfortunately. So that didn't work very well. Anyway, as for our opponent here, we got Veet. It's essentially... there are no tanks, I think. I'm not sure about McLean, had to look up his name. I'm not sure about McLean, I don't know if he has a guard or not. But everyone else here, I'm 100% sure that they don't have guard. As you can see, lots of mobility enhancing characters, then characters with long legs. It's just a nice mess here. It's majority single target too, in a lot of assassins. So I got rid of Jintoki because I don't want to deal with his shenanigans. And they banned my tank. So you can already tell how this is going to go. Opens with a Kaya. So they already got their enabler. I went ahead and got rid of Epsilon and Rodham. I think that's his name. Rostam, I think it is. Whatever. I got rid of Grappling Hook and Guy that literally can stealth and get a stupid bubble every time he gets a kill. So got rid of both of them. Went ahead and opened with... since I didn't have Lightbringer, I don't have the Holy Faction buff anymore. So if I opened with Rose and Seal, I don't think that's going to help me much, especially in this fight. Most of these things are just going to one-shot me, and Rose Seal is not going to be able to help on that front. So I went ahead and grabbed Iron Blood Commander for mobility and a attack buff. And then my opponent bans some of my long legs and long range. Goes for Wedham. Sorry, brain's going melty. Anyway, so this will be, I think this is the first video where I'm actually fighting Wedham in an Apex match. I fought him in World Arena all the time, because you can't ban in that. But yeah, we'll be dealing with him. So, we got Lucretia and Elwyn, mostly getting rid of self-resing. Went ahead and grabbed Adankelmo. Now grabbing more of my long legs again. Grabs Rosalia. So at this point, I was like, well, I don't want to deal with... I don't know too much about McLean. I've seen his matches, and he does a lot of wacky stuff that I don't really understand. So I didn't want to deal with his terrain nonsense and him getting self-res and all that junk. So I got rid of him, got rid of Azusa, since she can essentially swap stats with her little twin dragon shield thing. Went ahead and grabbed Kagura here, because we need some hard hitters at this point. Need to ban some more of my assassins and mages. Grabs D-Heart. Got rid of both Luna and what's his name? Wow, names just kind of fail me today. Werner. So we get rid of Werner and Luna. I did not want to deal with any additional mobility. I also did not want to deal with anything that reduces damage. If I'm only going to have like one chance to hit with each of my characters before they just get killed. So I need to make sure I one-shot in return. Grab Liana. Mainly because I'm player 2 and I can get an act again, but also I can get a buff from her as well. They banned the rest of my assassins, leaving me with Silvaria and Rose and Seal, and they grab Illustrial. It's been a while since we've seen Illustrial. I'll grab Silvaria. So my opponent went with 0 healers, 0 tanks. I got 1 healer. This Akaya did bring Bestial Outbreak. I should have read this when I was doing this match. I thought it was infinite range, but it isn't. It's 2 blocks, so you have to get Akaya actually pretty close to the target to actually get them self-resed, or not self-resed, but teleported and act again. But everything else is the same. Went with Steel Mane Werewolves, then she's Cav. So she's actually, technically she's physical based, though she seems to have more intelligence in this build. But I believe in Cav form she actually does physical attacks. Anyway, D-Hearts, you've seen the kit before. Move again, strike, 3C with Fairy Spirit Prophets. Rosalia, this one did bring Chivalry, so this is the standard get us maximum movement with 3C and Griffin Knights. Wedem, 3C, Shadow Step, and went with single target, so Annihilation. And then Illustrial here is the standard kit Illustrial with Elven Cavalry. Nothing too special here. Ironblood's brought a mass attack. Kagura's standard kit with Griffin Knights. Liana, I went 3C Act Again Heal with Shrine Maidens. Silvaria, I went Disarm just in case they get too close. And Adankelmo, I went with Windblade because I was assuming my opponent... I knew at the very least Wedem was going to be flying. And then usually, if given the opportunity, they'll usually favor some sort of flying troops. So I went ahead and just stuck with Windblade. She does have access to Fireball, and my opponent, in this case, I was not concerned about any sort of sword infantry. Besides that, she has Oracle from Beyond, which is our unique single target that lets her teleport 2 spaces and self-heal and does extra damage if she's near a portal. And then she has Dimensional Explosion, which is her 3C. I believe I mentioned this before, but Adankelmo is 5 stars. Everything else here, I'm pretty sure everything here is 6 stars. I'm not going to bother checking. Okay, so as you can see, this is their coverage. Illustrial can definitely cover a lot of ground. And I'm trying to stay as far back as possible. My biggest concern right now is Wedem. Though technically I think the character that can go the furthest right now is D-Heart. So yeah, just to give an idea. So this is his range, and he can actually strike to go another 3 spaces. So he can already attack Ironblood Commander. Wedem can get all the way to here. His Shadow of Alizar will not reach, but if he has Spirit Boots, which I'm assuming he does, he can move 2 spaces. He could do 2 spaces and then move 3 blocks afterwards and attack again. So he can also reach. In this case, he can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and attack everybody. So pretty annoying. Rosalia is out of range right now. Even with Chivalry, she can go 1, 2, 3 to here, and then throwing out the sword would actually would give her a potential to get another action. But there's no one within 2 rings of this space, so she can't actually do it. So even with Chivalry and the sword throw, she can't get in range. But if I take a single step forward, she would. And then unless she'll get all the way to there. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So went ahead and backed away. Get everyone buffed up and get the mobility buff active. Alright. Did proc a 10U Breeze. So yeah. So if he didn't have Spirit Boots, he wouldn't actually be able to reach. Did get to do a little damage with the Silvaria talent. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he can kill with just a regular attack. So did get hit with this stupid thing here. So every time he gets killed, 3 other enemies will get passes nullified, and any attacks to that target can't be guarded against. I do not have any passives. Well, I do have some passives, correction. I do have some passives. But overall, it's not anything significant. Also, he's super far away from his sword. Usually, if the number of units around this sword will increase his damage reduction by a ton. But since he's completely out of range, I can actually get kill on him. But obviously, at this point, we're just trading units. So yeah, he backs away 2 spaces. So I went ahead and move up to here. Do Oracle from Beyond. He did have demon troops. He did have demon troops, and I'm holy class, so that definitely increases the damage a bit. So I teleported. I could teleport two spaces, so I teleported here. As mentioned before, that strike from D-Heart can make him attack to here. So literally, it's just outside of range. Alright. So I shifted down. You can see Celestial kind of shifted up. It's not a big deal because I'm going to have initiative. Because my opponent killed Silvaria before she could take an action. So I actually have initiative for this part. Unfortunately, even with the aid of the portals, I can't get in range. They're just too far away. D-Heart is within range of attacking Kagura. I did do my 3C, which makes Kagura immune to all debuffs. It also makes Liana immune to all debuffs as well, which is actually significant. And at this point, yeah, Rosalia can reach at this point. So I need to get away from Celestial, else Adankelmo is going to die, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, shifted it down. Here's Chivalry. So I was under a kind of incorrect mindset through a good portion of this fight, and that's the act again for Micaiah. Alright. So yeah, my concern was Micaiah. So I didn't like I said, I didn't read about the 2 range from this thing. That being said, she can still get in range. With the 5 mobility, well sorry, the 7 mobility she has, she can get to anyone and call them back. So my choices were let her go, in which case she'll just get called back and eventually heals back up because of Chivalry. Or I go in and attack and provoke D-Heart's 3C, strike in 3C. So I was like, I have to trade kills at this point. So I go ahead and move in, do 3C to ensure the kill. You can see, yep. Okay. Goes down to here. Does Prodigal Son. Yeah, with the crit, I was gonna live. So this actually went in my favor. If he had shifted down this direction, there was a chance that the Lion's Roar could have gone on Adankelmo, and if it did, I would have been in trouble. I mean, I don't think it would have made that much of a difference because I think it could be dispelled. But, as I mentioned before, the 3C ensured that I could be immune to all debuffs, and that was pretty important. So I have a choice here. I could act again, but I don't think I can... Yeah, I can act again, and I think I should have. Yeah, like in hindsight, I should have. Again, I was running on the assumption that if I had act again, he would, Kaya would move up and just teleport D-Heart away and get an act again. But that's not how it works. Like I said, there's a range. So I was under this weird assumption. So instead of, doing an act again, which would have been more beneficial, I just attacked D-Heart just to do a little damage. I also debuffed his mobility. Alright. So a few things to note also. Anyone within 3 spaces of a portal will get a debuff. And this is kind of important. The other thing is the fancy rush buff that Kaya has only lasts for 2 turns, or 2 actions. So everyone pretty much has already used up their actions, except for D-Heart reapplied his buff with Strike. Or not, I think was it with Strike? No, he stole some buffs. I think that's what happened. Anyway. But yeah, Lustriel now doesn't even have an attack buff. So yeah, moves in, Beast Outbreak, and then now Lustriel can move in and attack. Ends up going after Liana. So I'm wondering... Yeah, she could have gone for Adankelmo. it would have been at, it would have been, yeah, he could have gone after Adankelmo instead, but instead went after my healer. I don't know why. It's at this point my opponent sent the retreat emote, by the way. Because, you know, obviously he saw 3-on-1. Well, technically 4-on-1 if you count that sword there. So, went ahead and moved in, did Windblade. I do have extra range because of the staff and the fact that portals are active. So I have 5 range with my single target. Kaya was out of range. And D-Heart opted to attack at range instead of in melee. I don't know why. So D-Heart is actually... is he? No, yeah, D-Heart by himself is not ranged. He's cavalry, that's it. The reason why he's able to attack at range is using his 3C. Fairy Spirit. So when he attacked at 2 range, only the Fairy Spirit Prophets attacked. And so I just countered with my better magic and won. Now, if he went in melee, he would have attacked, but the Fairy Spirit Prophets would have been down to like 50% power or something like that for the attack. Also, since they have more people than me, I pretty much guarantee I always have initiative. Especially with that sword active. So I went ahead and moved in. Did Oracle from Beyond. The Reflect did proc, which nearly killed me. Get to heal myself back to full. Teleport onto the portal. And then teleport from the portal to there. So I was out of range of... well, I think I was still within range of being attacked at ranged, but not in melee. And also he didn't have strike active and his buffs are gone. So, yeah. He's kind of in trouble right now. So I went ahead and just moved in. And I was like, alright, well... So, the 3C, I can either target a portal or I can target myself. So I target myself, and everything within 4 range gets hit, gets debuffed. Ended up inflicting silence. And then I went ahead and applied some portals. And there you go. I did respond with an emote towards the end there. So yeah, Adankelmo. Like I said, Adankelmo is still 5 stars, but honestly, even with a range staff, she does pack a decent punch. And those portals, if you go for like a longer fight in the center, the portals themselves do 1 debuff, and if you happen to hit a target with the 3C, it'll make it so they take an additional 2 debuffs on top of that. So it just kind of, it can really debilitate the opposing army, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, look at all that damage. Alright, BRB. Alright. So, props to the guy that went with glasses as their icon. So we go up against Wushun here. Got rid of Jintoki immediately, and you can see the box is a little bit different. This one actually has tanks. Has 2 tanks, it looks like. Well, technically 3, if you count the physical tank that Autocrado can do. You get some Oboro here, and kind of a mixture of mostly assassins with a little bit of AoE, and then there's 4 healers. So yeah, 4 healers, 2 tanks. So kind of a more standard setup. Alright, so yeah, I went ahead and got rid of Jintoki immediately. Oh yeah, on the previous battle, you can definitely call it, another thing I refer to it as is why D-Heart sucks, because unfortunately D-Heart just always underperforms, it looks like. Anyway, they banned my Iron Blood Commander, goes straight for tank. So yeah, they're going to go for a tank push. I get rid of their primary assassins. So at this point, the only guard bypass they have is technically Wet M, and then technically a Boro if you let him charge up enough. So I went ahead and grabbed Rosen Seal because I needed to have a counter against Wet M. They start going after my assassins in my long range. Grabs a Boro. So already you can tell what the plan is. The plan is just to guard up Boro until he's fully charged and goes full on dragon form. So went ahead and got rid of self-resing nonsense. Grabbed my tank. So I grabbed Lightbringer. They start banning more of my assassins. Grabs Iron Blood Commander. I get rid of Autocrado and Rosen Seal. See if I can force them to pick a healer. Go ahead and grab Adankelmo for this, because if it's going to be a tank push, I need to have ways of covering ground. They ban more of my assassins. So at this point, the only assassin I have left is Pyrotes. They go with Sophia as the healer. So at this point, I banned the rest of their healers. I was like, you can either bring Wedem or a second tank. And in all honesty, they probably should have went second tank if their plan was just to protect Arboro. I went ahead and grabbed Kagura, and they banned my last assassin and leave me with Liana and Alicia. They grab Wedem, I grab Alicia. So I have 5 holy units, so Lightbringer can buff those. Kagura can buff herself. And then I can get a buff on Alicia using Strengthen from Lightbringer. I did opt for Templar Knights as my troops, mainly because I was concerned about for the chance that Ironblood brings infantry. The other reason, of course, is demon troops from Wedem, and also just in general higher magic defense, which can help a lot as well. So a bunch of that junk. Anyway, so Adankelmo, I did opt for Fireball this time. Kagura standard kit. Alicia standard kit. Rosen Seal, I brought all heals. And then Lightbringer, I already talked about. Okay, Sophia. So 3C heal rewind, nothing too surprising. This Wedham went with the Demon Dragon's Grievance. So instead of the single target, the Sword Soul type ability, he went with the AoE that prevents healing and guard, which is kind of useless because I have Rosen Seal, so it's not really a big deal. Hilda, Crystal Molders, all guard. It looks like no buff, no faction buff, which is a bit, I guess, it's a bit strange to be honest. Technically, they can provide buffs with Sophia here, with her talent. Ironblood Commander brought Mass Attack, and then Oboro. Like I said, I don't know too much about Oboro besides just seeing him go full on dragon and killing things. But essentially, the amount of turns he stays he charges up before going dragon form will get him a bunch of extra abilities, and then he will, be a problem. So right off the bat, Oboro is going to go ahead and start amassing. So while he's doing that, he literally can't move or do anything, and the more rounds he does that, well, he can do one thing: he can transform. If he transforms, then that's it. He'll take the buffs that he has and converts them into the stacks he has and converts them into unique buffs. So essentially 4 rounds would pretty much max him out, I believe, or 4 actions. And he's gonna, and the mist will take about 4 turns to get to him anyway. So he has enough time to fully bulk up if necessary. So yeah, I went ahead and moved in and did some portals. I think I should have pushed forward with this and put the portals even closer, but I was kind of concerned about Wedem, so I wasn't sure how I was going to play it. To be honest, I think baiting Wedem out would have been better, because these portals are practically worthless. My opponent is not pushing in. As you can see, they're piling all around Oboro, put up some terrain to prevent Actigans. They're just going to wait until Oboro's Kraken is ready and then push in and annihilate me. One of the unique buffs that Oboro can get is the ability to bypass guard. And once that happens, that'll be it, because I won't be able to survive the hits from it. So yeah, 2 stacks of this. Yeah, every stack of this will increase mobility and increases damage. And then, based off the amount of Dragon Valors he has, it'll trigger the following effects. It'll restore HP before initiating battle, get additional range, gets immunity to everything, I think, and then increased damage and ignore guard. So yeah, he just becomes super brutal. So I'm like, alright, I'll try to move more aggressively. I mean, right now, I technically can reach with Alicia, but of course Hilda can guard. So I did push in, yeah, I'm pushing in with Adankelmo. Keep wanting to say Adankelmo, and I don't want to. procking some breezes. Not a huge deal. Yeah, so I'm clumped up here, trying to get push in. Stack 3 here. So at this point I put up Miracle. So I don't have to worry about so first thing I checked was immunities. Immune to attack down and silence, and then immune to stun, speed decrease, and buff negation effects. So she takes her action, and that immunity to stun is no longer here. So I go ahead and move in. So proc the stun. I also proc shackles. Punch and kick. Almost kill, but not quite enough. Alright, so this is where I got a little confused. So I applied... Alright, I nullified... Okay, so reading that skill, let's read it again. When the target is not a player hero, the blah 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 blah. If I have 3 or less stacks of hungry, the enemy is also stunned for 1 turn. Okay, the stun is dispellable. So that was my mistake. I thought it wasn't. So I was like, oh cool, I'll just stun her and then go from there. Not realizing that was a problem. So yeah, with this, she'll be able to remove the stun, as well as the debuff that prevents guard as well, which was from the spear. But she does have reduced healing, so she's actually still pretty squishy. So yeah, the only thing that can't be dispelled is the heal reducing. And then, yeah, I could not afford to wait. If I had waited, all my opponent had to do was pass Sophia's turn, and then the immunity would be reapplied. So I went ahead and moved in. I was like, oh cool, well, I mean, I didn't realize that the stun had worn off. I wasn't paying attention. I thought it was, I thought you couldn't remove it. So I ended up provoking this instead. So is there a sting? Now the good news is Hilda has already taken her turn. And I did spell 5 buffs. I also did get a kill. I also did quite a bit of damage. Holy cow, look at that damage. That was mostly to the Steelwing Warriors. But, because the Steelwing Warriors are flying and she's our archer. Anyway, but yeah, at this point I checked the buffs, and she no longer has her guard buff. So with that, Oboro is no longer being guarded. Decides to do Scarlet Awakening. Goes for kill here. So yeah, I had to stop Oboro. There was no ifs or buts about that. I had to. Endurance formation. Like I said, I'm not that concerned because the guard is gone. And since I don't really need to worry about anything besides wet him, I went ahead and just took my. I went ahead and waited because I would not be able to attack with the Adankelmo and teleport back into guard range. So this is a regular attack, so she managed to survive it. And gets healed up thanks to the formation buff. But yeah, with 5 range, yeah, I was all the way to here with Lightbringer. I could have attacked from 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have attacked from here, and that would have still put me outside of guard range. So I had to push that Lightbringer up first before I move in with Adankelmo here. Did Fireball, and Oboro's dead. Does proc this, which nearly kills me. So Crystal Healing heals myself. And for whatever reason, I keep thinking Adankelmo has the hammer that allows the healing after combat. I kept running under that assumption for some reason, even though I specifically have the range staff for a reason. So I go ahead and move down here and attack with Oracle from Beyond. Doesn't do very much, but it does allow me to heal myself a little bit. In hindsight, I should have went after Weta instead. I probably would have done more damage. so I move down, get Mass Crystal Healing up and running. So I have the center. But my portals are about to wear off. I should have waited on the portals. So I've been attacking. Again, I was wondering, I don't know why. I had it in my head that I was able to actually heal. But it's not a big deal. I was still healing from the Rosenseal's talent. Alright, so go ahead and reapply faction buff and guard. Since Wedem did not bring the single target Sword Soul, the only person that can remove buffs is Iron Blood. And I have 5 stacks of the mirror, so it's not a big deal. So Demon Dragon's Grievance does some damage. None of the debuffs apply, so it's all good. Opting not to attack. I think she was still on cooldown. Yeah, she was still on cooldown. Now Rewind is coming, so we got that going for us. So at this point, I went ahead and did, since I'm going to be applying portals again, I went ahead and did my AoE and do Dimensional Explosion for some extra damage. Rewind's going to heal most of this, but I do some random debuffs, and then I apply 2 turns of Delusions, which will definitely do a bunch of debuffs. And Sophia doesn't really do much about debuffs, besides her 3C. So with that, I just apply the portals here to guarantee that we have to get in the middle here, so they're always going to be in range of getting debuffs. And thanks to the 3C, they're going to get 3 debuffs every time. So I go ahead and attack from range with Discipline. Do a little bit of damage. Unfortunately, Templars are not very good for attacking. So yeah, just to take a look at some of the debuffs I apply, so reduce damage dealt, magic defense down. And then this one, I had mostly immunities, didn't I? Yeah, looks like I didn't hit anything there. Dominating Formation. Portals do have priority for terrain, so you don't need to worry about them being dispelled like that. I think there is one ability in the future that will override a portal, but we don't need to worry about that for this season. So yeah, the Crystal Barrier is holding up. Bye-bye a sword. With Rewind, they're going to throw out another sword very soon. So yeah, passes turn, heals up. One of the random debuffs was a dot, so she took some damage. And then she passed a turn so she can get the cooldown for Iron Blood off. But yeah, you can see right now, magic defense down. She does have a bunch of immunities thanks to strengthen, so it is what it is. And then Wedem's actually out of range of the portals, so he's safe. Alright, and right now, yeah, Hilda still has guard. So proc Thorns here. Do Fireball. And actually get kill. I nearly killed myself. I was at 670 HP right there. Again, I was running on this weird assumption that I had the healing hammer. So real quick, so that AoE, I want to see what that was. So yeah, I was down to like 600 health. I went back up to like nearly 4k. And then this thing it only does 0.15 AoE damage, so it's actually a very weak AoE. So as long as you have like crystal healing and stuff, you can actually prevent things that would happen with this teleport nonsense and junk like that. So yeah, it actually does not that much damage, which is good, because otherwise I would be screwed. So crystal healing there. Getting combat here. So this is just a normal attack, and I get shredded. And he right now has like huge amounts of damage reduction. So mass crystal healing to get healed up again. But yeah, Every enemy unit within 3 block span reduces damage up to 45%. So yeah, he can just tank everything. And he was right. He did do. Yeah, Shadow's throwing his sword like that grants him immunity, so he's immune to all the debuffs right now. All right, and then Lightbringer, you can see her stats here, and then Iron Blood's probably gonna hit me now. Scarlet Awakening. Procs a bunch of these. So yeah, damage dealt reduced by 15% and reduced defense and magic defense. So cav troops versus infantry soldiers. And I managed to survive this. So I'm able to buy some much needed time, which is good. I went ahead and just attacked in melee. Just to proc Heaven's Gift and heal myself more. I have control of the center for the most part, and I have more damage, so I can outweight this mostly. Oh, one thing to note: Ironblood's 3C did not actually dispel any buffs because she opted for the defensive formation. When you go defensive formation, it just does a bunch of extra healing afterwards. And you can move afterwards as well. So I went ahead and healed everybody again. He's going to do Shadow Step. This is mainly just so he can get some additional healing and reduces cooldowns. Again. Get hit a bunch. Alright. So at this point I was like, you know what, that sword's annoying. Discipline. Which will allow me to heal myself for a bunch. And then heal with Heaven's Gift. And I'm back to full. Now he doesn't have the damage reduction. Regular attack, she can't do anything. She's only Holy Class. Well, she's Holy Class, so she doesn't have any penalties against the Cav, but the Cav have high magic defense. So, Oracle Beyond, Holy versus Demon Troops. And then I teleport to the center. And my opponent gives up. So yeah, crazy fights. 2 fights in a row where I had to deal with Wedem, and managed to deal with them both times, which is really nice. And one of them I didn't even need Rose and Seal. But yeah, you got to see Adankelmo in action, which is good. I am 1 win away from hitting Silver 1. I'm probably going to wait until another shift, or another slot to time slot to go ahead and try that. The matches are definitely getting harder. The difference between Silver 3 and 2 is actually kind of significant. I think everyone's still trying to climb their way to Gold and Langrisser. But if I can get just 1 more win, that will be nice. If I start losing, though, it's going to obviously set me back. But gradually my win rate's increasing again, so we'll see how that goes. So until next time, I'm Theodore Prestillo. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 12. I'll see you guys later.